Hey, and welcome to the Wombs of Wives video series.
Hello.
I am Darlyshia Menzie, the founder of Fervent Servant and Wombs of Wives, and I hope that you have been blessed so far with the videos that have been put out. My desire for Wombs of Wives is for husbands and wives who are believing God for a baby to have a community of understanding, to have a community of unity, and to have a community of information and knowledge. I know that going through either infertility or loss or not being able to have a child can be a lot, and it's not necessarily something that we talk about on a regular basis. And so God put it on my heart to create this series to be able to speak to the hearts of wives and husbands. So again, I hope that you've been blessed. If you have any questions, if you have any additional things that you want to talk about, please let me know in the comment section. That way I can be able to continue to reach out. We do have a group on Facebook called Wombs of Wives. It is a closed group, which you can be invited to, but we kept it closed so that it could be an intimate space for us to be able to share our experiences, share things that we feel might be able to help, and to share some encouraging things. So if you're hoping to be a part of that, be sure to reach out to me. I can add you in, or I think you can search for it as well, and I can approve your interest into the group. Again, I hope this has been a blessing to you. So I'm joined today by my favorite human being.
Hello, everyone.
My husband, Anthony Menzie. What?
I am here.
He is here. He is here. And I'm so grateful to my husband for being super supportive of this video series. He has been rooting me on since the very beginning, and I'm glad that he could be able to join us on this video series. I believe that it's important to have the male voice and the male perspective in something like this. It can be dominated oftentimes by women, but to be able to conceive and have a child and care for a child is a two-way partnership. It's not just a wife or a woman thing. And so, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us on this video series. I just want to start by talking about just our journey and our experience. So, can you tell the people how we met?
How we met?
Yeah.
I think they already know how we met.
Do they?
We met. We say we talk about this all the time.
They don't know.
But we met in college. I think I ended my sophomore, going into junior year. My mutual friend, Jaleesa.
Shout out to Jaleesa.
Shout out to Jay Wall. Yeah, she introduced us, and we kind of just hit it off from there. She couldn't resist me, you know what I'm saying? And
Cut it out.
God just brought us together, and yeah, we've been rocking together ever since.
Yeah, he's my favorite human being, you guys.
That's crazy. Love you.
I love you too. So yes, we did meet in college, and we've been together ever since. We just celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary, which is super, super, super exciting.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I have desired to have a child since we got together.
Probably since you was born.
Since I was a baby, I wanted a baby.
Yeah.
So it has been my desire to start a family early on in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that when we first got married, I did get on birth control pills. So I knew that at that time, it wasn't necessarily something that we were trying for. However, I did still have that desire, and that was what my heart wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you talk to them about just kind of our journey with wanting a child, me wanting a child, and you not necessarily being ready for a child, and kind of what that's been like for us?
Yeah, it was rough for us in the beginning. You know, she wanted a child, wanted to start a family, and I was more like, are we ready for a baby? Like, you know, that's a big commitment. That's a big sacrifice, and we were both, you know, looking to start our own things with entrepreneurship and start our businesses and travel and different stuff like that. And I just felt like in the beginning we weren't in a position financially, I don't know, spiritually, mentally, everything to like have a child and stuff like that. And so it was rough. We butt heads a lot, you know, because she's like, why do I have to wait on you to be ready to want a kid? And I'm just like, why you want a kid right now? And everything is not set up and stuff like that. So we definitely have difference of opinions,
Mm-hmm.
you know, regarding that. And it caused some some strife early on in our marriage. But I think now we're at a place where we're both on the same accord. She didn't have to change. She always wanted a baby, and I think it's more of me feeling like I'm in a position now that, you know, if baby comes, then I'm happy and excited about that. You know, we got a house now. I feel like we're more financially stable. We paid off some things, you know. We have savings and stuff now. I feel like, you know, I wanted to do more things, you know, before the baby and stuff comes along and stuff like that. So that's just how I felt. I know a lot of people have difference of opinions and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. And from my perspective, I didn't necessarily need to have all of those things in order for us to be able to have a baby. I mean, I see it all the time where individuals don't have a lot of money or may not be as set up as we already are set up, and, you know, they're doing fine. And I'm just like, I want this baby. Like, I'm ready for us to start a family. I'm ready for us to start this legacy. I'm ready to experience what it's like to be a mom, you know, what it's like to see you as a dad, because I think Anthony's going to be a fantastic daddy. And so it was just that strong desire. And I couldn't always see from his perspective, you know, that as a man, as a provider, and as the head of our household, these other things would make him feel better about welcoming another life into our home.
Yeah, and that's true. And I think that in those times where you couldn't see those things, we were just in our own feelings and emotions. We were just butting heads.
Yeah.
With each other, like trying to get the other person to see the other side.
Right.
But, you know, it just wasn't happening and stuff. And I know for me, it was a situation I had. I don't know if y'all know, but, you know, I go to the gym a lot. I like to lift weights and stuff like that. And I seen a dad in there with his son, like lifting weights, showing him how to lift weights and stuff like that. And I was just like, that's cold to me. Like, that is cool. Like, you know, and it kind of put me in a mindset of thinking more about my legacy and different things like that. And, you know, wanting to have a junior, wanting to have a daughter and different things like that, and teach them in the ways of the Lord, and to grow them and to groom them, you know, to see another like me, like, you know, something that we created and stuff. And I don't know if a lot of y'all know this about me, but I don't know who my real father is. I have had a father figure in my life. But I don't know who my real father is and stuff. And so that alone pushes me to, you know, want to be a great father to my kids, to my future kids and stuff like that. And to be in their lives and to provide them with great lives and stuff like that. And so once I had that like kind of moment and realization and stuff, I think things kind of shifted for me. And that was maybe like a year ago.
Yeah, because there was a point in time where Anthony told me he was ready, but then in his heart he really wasn't ready. And I think that he was just trying to appease me and my desires and like what I was really wanting. So he was just like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for a baby. But I knew that he wasn't really ready for a baby at the time. But I mean, more recently, at the end of last year, like the last quarter of last year, we had just a heart-to-heart conversation about where we both were. And, you know, he shared with me at that time that there was some fear there, which I can appreciate. And, you know, I'm sure many of you husbands and or wives can appreciate just having those honest conversations about where you are. That way you can really be able to deal with it. And so we had that conversation, and I felt a shift in the direction of our future and in our desire for being parents. Right. So I definitely encourage you all to have those conversations, whatever they may look like, just to be honest about where you are. And we have to respect each other's honesty, you know.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. I think for a long time that I was holding it in, because guys, you know, we like to, you know, I want to give you everything, you know, and like minus myself and stuff like that. So I'll tend to hold stuff in, you know, and try to appease and stuff like that. But that's not always the right way to do things. And I think once I spoke to you about it, was just honest with you, I think that we were able to understand each other better. And that's when you say you felt a shift and stuff like that. And so you know, not to hold back, definitely communicate everything, you know, with your spouse, and see what happens.
Yeah.
See what God does.
Yeah. I'm also thinking about, which I shared in like my latest book, Be Light, at the very beginning. I share about this journey of wanting, we've been married for 5 years, and so I've wanted kids the entire time, but we just don't know what is going on or what's to come up in our lives or why we may not be having a child yet. So I'm speaking specifically to those of us who haven't conceived yet. We just don't know what's coming up ahead. We don't know what's in the plans of God. We don't know what's in our future that now or then may not be the times, right? So that first year of our marriage, we were new. Yeah. We were just new, and it just wasn't time. It wasn't time to be ready. And then we moved right after that from Marion. Then we moved to Missouri, you know, with Anthony's new job. So just kind of figuring out what that looks like and that shifting. And we lived on like the 4th or 5th floor of an apartment building. So, you know, what would it be like carrying a baby and all of a baby's stuff up and down? I did. I've always wanted a baby.
Dang.
Always. But carrying that stuff up and down the stairs all the time. And we've moved every year since we've been married. I mean, now we won't have to because we have our home. Praise God. Hey. But we've moved every single year. And then the year after that, he got ill. And he was in the hospital for 12 days. And then he was doing at-home care. And he had to recuperate and all of these different things. So I didn't know any of this stuff was coming up. The 4th year, you know, we were building on our foundation of our marriage, you know, and what that means. You know, they say the first 1 to 5 years are kind of the rockiest. And once you get past that 5th or 7th year, I guess, you know, you're figuring each other out. You kind of know each other's ebbs and flows. And so you can do more and kind of be more stable. And I just feel like that year was that year for us. And so now we're entering into our 5th year. Yeah. And we've hit the 5th year.
Yeah,
we've hit the 5th year, so yeah, we're working on our 6th year, right? And so with all of these different transitions going on, what would it have been like to, you know, have a baby, right. You know, a small baby? Yeah. And so I'm just encouraged in the fact of knowing that God knows the plans that he has for our lives and that he's setting us up in a place exactly where we need to be, and that we just got to trust him. And I know it's hard to just hear that sometimes, especially during those times where I'm really going through and people will be trying to encourage me and it just wasn't the right stuff to be saying at the time. Because I think that it's still important to feel those human emotions. I think that it's still important to be able to vent and just at least identify where I am and not just try to bury it, you know, under the rug.
Yeah, I think it was definitely tough having those conversations with you. You know, on one hand, you got your wife saying, you know, she's ready for a baby and stuff like that. And then on my end, I'm like, you know, God's timing, you know, but it's like, I can't say that to her because she's in this emotional state and she needs her emotional needs attended to first, you know what I'm saying, despite what I may feel is probably right. You know, it's God's timing with everything. Like she said, like all the stuff that we've been through, like it would have been rough to have a baby. Not saying we couldn't have done it, but it would have been rough to do all those things and have a baby at the same time, you know. And I just believe that God will bless us with children when it's his time. You know, that's my firm belief, and that's, you know, my side. I'm no longer in the mind state of, I don't want to have kids right now. I'm in the mind state of, okay, Lord, like whenever you're ready for us to have kids, I'm ready, you know, type thing. So
yeah, that's a huge shift. Yeah. I'm so glad for that. It's been rough, y'all. Like I've cried myself, just even thinking about it, I'm getting emotional, but I've cried myself to sleep so many times over this, you know. And each month I can remember writing down in my journal that every month, you know, when your cycle comes on and you think this could be the month that you start experiencing some symptoms, and then you have your cycle. It's like, for me, it's like being in a championship game, the Super Bowl, being at the all the major league final games, the championship game, and losing like every single month. Like that's a huge disappointment, especially when it's such a big desire, you know. And for me, it was just super helpful to just have Anthony present, just to have him understanding where I am, even though I know he can't, quote unquote, do anything about it, just to be there, not having to say anything all the time, not having to do a whole lot of anything, but just to be there, just to hold me, just to hug me, just to say, you know, it's gonna be okay. Or just to sit in silence. Like, for me, that did the most.
Right.
It did the most.
Yeah, and it was tough, you know, as a husband, seeing that, you know, every month. I'm just like, man, like next month, like what if we're going through this again?
Right.
I don't like seeing you like that. And then it sucks because like I can't do nothing about it, you know, and it was just tough, you know. So I just prayed, you know, I prayed about it and just try to comfort you as much as I can. And yeah, just go from there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely tough. Definitely tough seeing.
Yeah.
You.
What encouragement would you have for husbands and wives who are believing God for a baby?
I would just say just stay encouraged, you know, to keep praying every day, to pray with your spouse, you know, and to ask God to just bless you guys with a beautiful baby boy, baby girl, when the time is right, and to keep believing, you know, no matter what you may going through, what you may be experiencing, and different stuff like that. To keep believing in God, because He can do. Don't put Him in a box, because He can do anything, no matter what. Anything. You know, I know a lot of women or men may have stipulations or things restricting them from having kids. You know, and I mean there are things on earth that people can do to kind of help with that. So if that's available, I think that may be okay. And then but really to just keep believing God, because He can do it. He can do it all. You know, and I've went actually to go get tested as well, you know, just naturally, just to make sure everything is okay. And I think that you went already to make sure everything is okay. And but we could do that, you know, just for our practical knowledge and stuff like that. But ultimately, we believe in God, you know, to conceive, you know, as a couple. So.
Yeah, one of our other presenters, I believe it was Melissa, was just sharing how if there may be other marital things going on that may be prohibiting you all from being able to have a child. Like if you know there are like underlying things that are going on in your relationship that may be causing a barrier between you and your husband or you and your wife, taking time to really flesh those issues out and flesh out those concerns so that when baby boy or baby girl is welcomed into the world, they're not being privy to that sort of environment. And so I think that's an important thing too. Anthony and I have gone through some counseling. Anthony and I have taken time with and for one another. Anthony and I have learned and have grown through supporting each other through our entrepreneurial ventures. Anthony and I have prayed with and for each other, just for other stuff that is going on with us individually and us that are going on together, that I believe was necessary for us to be able to create an environment for our child to be their best. You know what I mean? And so I'm definitely encouraging you all to take time to truly know and support and understand one another first as you're waiting. Not to say that the wait and the desire shouldn't be there, but as you're waiting, do something on the inside that can help on the outside. You know what I mean?
That's good. And also, I don't know if any of y'all know this, but when we got our house, one of the rooms was already painted a certain color. I'm going to try to show y'all a little bit. Let's see. So as you can see, it was already painted pink.
There you go.
It was already painted pink. Not saying that, you know, we're going to have a girl first. It don't matter what we have first. But I'm just like, dang, we about to have a girl first. I'm just like, Lord, you trying to tell me
Speaking
something?
it right.
I'm like, what's going on? But yeah. So if we have a girl first, it'll be like, I don't know.
I'm kicking Anthony out of his room, out of his office, and the baby's going to be in there.
The baby's supposed to be in our room for like the first 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Right?
He got this already worked out. Y'all see that?
Kick me out. We're going to build an extra room or something.
Okay, so yeah, we hope that this video series has been amazing. I pray that something was said that has touched you. Something was said that has encouraged you. Something was said that has given you a second wind as you guys believe God for your baby. I'm sorry if you have lost. My deepest condolences. But I do believe that God has something great in store for you. Through your pain can come purpose, right? Through this waiting, you can experience the fullness of God's joy and everything that He has for you. So don't let this moment, don't let the loss, don't let the wait deter you from what God has for you to do. Because what I also want you to know is that your identity is not wrapped up in this one thing. God has a whole plan and purpose for your life, and he wants to use you, and he wants you to share your story. We know that the word says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So share your story, and that's what this series was about. Individuals sharing their stories to help another individual make it through, to get some strength to come through. You know what I mean? And so I'm just blessed to be in such a position to share this space with you all and to have this community with you all. And I'm praying that we can continue the conversation. You know, we can do more videos. You let me know what you're looking for. You let me know what you're needing. You let me know how I can pray for you. Nikki HG did a prayer for us yesterday that I am just so blessed by. And I'm going to be posting affirmations and declarations in the group and on the Instagram page for you all to be declaring over your lives and for you to be praying over your lives. We know that as we change our thinking, we change our life. And so we can begin to put those thoughts in our mind and let them come out of our mouth. Our atmosphere can be changed, you know. And so I believe that God is going to move, and we are believing that you will experience conception and or birth within 1 year. That is our belief, and we want to hear your testimony. So don't be shy. Don't be shy and don't be a stranger. Post in the group as you need, Wombs of Wives. I'm going to put the link down here. It's bit.ly/Wombs of Wives. And that will send you directly to the page so that you can send your request. I will be active on that page as often as necessary, as often as you guys post, and as often as God shares with me. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the Fervent Servant YouTube channel. And if you haven't liked the Facebook page, we welcome you. I'm always sharing some good stuff on there, whether it be a time of worship, whether it be a time of prayer, or whether it be a word that the Lord has given me to share with you. Our intention for Fervent Servant is to lead you in developing a more authentic and fervent spiritual life, which is the foundation for all things good, the foundation for our purpose. And we want you to live with intention and serve with passion. And so if this has blessed you, please be sure to share this series and share Fervent Servant with others around you so that they may be blessed as well. I love you.
Yep, thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Thank you for coming,
babe. And God's timing, everything.
Amen. So as always, you guys, stay fervent.